As the Cold War and the European decolonization were largely overlapped, there is a complex interrelationship between these two processes. The clearest situation where you can see the impact of Cold War on decolonization was when nationalists wanted to follow communism. The Cuban Missile Crisis on October 1962 was considered to be an example of how Cold War interfered with decolonization in a cultural perspective. From 1494 to 1899, Cuba was a colony of Spain, but during the Spanish-American War, with the help of the U.S., Cuba finally became independent. However, Cuba was within the U.S. sphere of influence. Once again, Cuba started its process of decolonization, which, in this case, is the removal of pernicious colonial effects. In 1959, a young revolutionary, Fidel Castro, became the leader of Cuba. He believed that socialism could bring about equality and turn over a new leaf for the poor of Cuba.
For everybody, we are not afraid of an idea because we have our idea and we believe in our idea.
May 1960, Castro established a diplomatic relation with the Soviet Union. This triggered the U.S. to put an embargo on the Cuban sugar and soon extended to include almost all imports. On April 1961, in response to Bay of Pigs invasion, a failed military intrusion of Cuba undertaken by the CIA, Khrushchev and Castro made a secret agreement that Soviets could place nuclear missiles in Cuba. The U.S. noticed how serious the current situation was. On October 22, 1962, Joseph F. Kennedy spoke to his nation about Cuban Missile Crisis.
It shall be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response upon the Soviet Union.
During 13-day confrontation, both sides were on the verge of starting a nuclear war. The Cuban Missile Crisis was the closest the Cold War came to escalating into a full-scale nuclear war. It can be seen that, although both the U.S. and the Soviet Union wanted decolonization to take place, each side believed its principle to be the best guidance for the new independent nations. Even now, Cuba remains a socialist republic, and the U.S. embargoes against Cuba is still enforced in some statutes.